Beautiful souls, what is up? So today I'm going to be telling you books that have literally changed my life and have had a profound impact on my life. I love to read. I used to hate reading because school taught me that reading was boring and that there was nothing interesting to read. But a couple years ago, I picked up a book of a genre that I thought was interesting. So I decided to read it and I ended up falling in love with reading, and it ended up being a literal game changer. I've learned so much from books, it's actually insane, and it has truly made me the person I am today. I think I would be completely different if I never picked up that one book. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a few books that have transformed my life, so I think that they might be able to transform yours as well. I prefer to read nonfiction books that include self-improvement, business, finance, and mindset and spirituality. So just the whole genre of personal growth, basically. Those are the only books I read. And sometimes I'll read biographies or autobiographies of people that I'm influenced by, but still all in the same category of nonfiction. So the reason I read self-improvement and personal growth books is it just resonates with me because I'm always constantly trying to grow, and all the knowledge I learn I share with you guys, and that holds a special place in my heart because not only is it impacting my growth, but I'm also impacting other people's growth by what I learned through those books. And personally for me, I don't really like to read fiction books because one, they don't resonate with me, and two, I just feel like I'm not being productive when I'm reading a fiction book, which there are some fiction books that still teach a lot of lessons, but at the end of the day, nonfiction books are just the books that resonate with me. And there's nothing wrong with any other type of books. If you like fiction books, that is completely fine. Reading overall is a strength. No matter what kind of books you like, I think you should read. So the first book I'm going to start with is this book Belong by Radha Agrawal. This was the book I was talking about, the first book that I read on my self-improvement journey. It seriously changed my life in a way that I didn't at the time see. But after I'd read it, I was like, man, if I would have never read that book, I don't think I would have kept going. This book is an interactive book, so not only are you just reading the information in it, there's activities in each chapter that helps you practice it and implement everything it's teaching into your own life, and it helps you remember the information it talked about as well. I read this book almost 2 years ago, and to this day, because of the activities in it, I remember a lot of the book. The main idea of this book is about finding your people, creating a community, and living a more connected life. And the reason I first got this book is my mentor, Alex Sedlak, it was on his top 10 book list. It was funny because it was a blessing in disguise, because at the time I didn't realize I need to read a book about how to find my true people or create a community. Honestly, I just picked the book out of the 10 he had provided, and it happened to be this one. Blessing in disguise, because at the time, basically, not all of my friends, so the real ones that are still here, I love you, but a lot of my friendships at that time were fake friendships. This book really helped me figure out what I want in friends and what I want in a partner. And this book has two parts. So the first part dives into self-awareness, because you can't fix the outside of your life without fixing the inside of your life. So it helped me become self-aware. It helped me figure out who I really was and what I really liked, because at the time I didn't even realize it, but I really did not even know who I was. And this book really brought it out of me and made me figure out who I truly was. And after doing that, that's when I was able to find my true friends. At the end of this book, it asks you to list community ideas, ideas of communities you can join or groups. And at the time, I had no idea. It was like, I'm a junior in high school. What community am I going to be joining? I had no idea. Then I come across Create Your Reality, which is by Alex Sedlak. And to this day, I still have a community of like-minded people. I've met all these people online. It's a community I go to every single day on Discord. I would not trade it for the world, because there are so many people on there that they're going big places. Some of them already have, and it's insane. And I couldn't do it without this book. Some key lessons that I learned from this book was in the self-awareness section, I learned my values, and at the time, if you would have asked me my values before I read this book, I would have been like, what do you mean what do I value? Like, I would have said probably material possessions, because I wouldn't have understood what you meant by values. Through this book, I was able to find what I truly value and who I truly am, and that's what helped me to find the friends I have today and why I'm in the community I am today and who I am today. Another key lesson I learned from this book is energy, which is actually, this book is the inspiration of my podcast name, Energy Equalizer, because it talks about how energy is the equalizer in life. For example, if you have a positive mindset, you're gonna breed a positive community. If you have a negative mindset, you're gonna breed a negative community. So that's why energy is the equalizer in life, and that is the inspiration for my podcast name. So if you're looking to become self-aware, find the true friends in your life, or who you want in a partner, or even find communities that you can join and thrive in life and live a more connected life, I highly recommend this book. This book has seriously changed my life in so many ways. The next book I'm going to talk about that has changed my life is The Mastery of Love. This was the third book I read on this journey. When I first started reading this book, I literally could not put it down. It resonated with me on a whole nother level. This is my favorite book of all time, and I've read quite a few books. Considering that I found this one at the beginning of my journey and it still is my favorite book to this day is amazing, because it seriously has changed my life that much. So The Mastery of Love goes into self-love, of course, because you can't have a fulfilling relationship with somebody else if you don't have a fulfilling relationship with yourself. When I read Belong, it helped me become self-aware, and when I read The Mastery of Love, which was really close after that, after I read that book, this book helped me love myself. But I can't love myself if I don't know myself, so reading Belong was the perfect decision to read before that, because it helped me become self-aware, and then this book helped me to love myself. I got this book after I had gotten out of a toxic relationship where I got cheated on, and this book really opened my eyes on what love truly is, and to not fall for the image of someone you have in your head, because that's exactly what I did. I read this book right before and a little bit during when I got in my current relationship, and I think this book is a key reason why my girlfriend and I are still together to this day. This book taught me how to be the best partner I can be. It taught me what relationships should look like. Lastly, it helped me to truly accept who I am, truly accept others for who they are, and the fact that you can't change people and you shouldn't try to change people. It also taught me to forgive myself for anything that I've done in the past, or forgive myself for feeling a certain way, and also to always forgive others, because forgiveness is an act of self-love. I don't care who you are or what you want in life. I think this book is a book that everyone should read, because I think either way it will help your life in some way. The next book I want to talk about is 3 Feet from Gold by Sharon Lechter and Greg Reed. Note that the author, Greg Reed, this book is actually about him. After I read this book, I read Think and Grow Rich, which is not in this video, but that's also a very good book, which I highly recommend. 3 Feet from Gold, I read last December, and it really resonated with me because at the time I was deeply invested into self-improvement. I was making tons of content, and this book just allowed me to keep going and never give up. It's a very motivational book. I found this book on my mom's bookshelf, and she doesn't read books like this, but somebody she used to work with gave this book to her, and she had never read it, and I was just happening to look at her bookshelf, and I found it on there, and not knowing what it was, but I just put it on my bookshelf, and then when I needed a new book to read in December, I decided to pick this one up and read it. It talks about all things from business, motivation, mindset, the people you meet, purpose, success, like anything you could ever imagine into this book. I think that's why I enjoyed it so much, because it was a little piece of everything I am interested in into one book. And the cool thing about it is I think anyone who likes fiction books will like this book as well, because it talks about Greg's life in a narrative tone, so it really, I think anybody can read this book and enjoy it. Greg was basically a shallow guy who was broke, hated himself and others, but he was very egotistical. I won't get too crazy into the plot because I want you guys to read it and I don't want to spoil it, but moral of the story, Greg meets someone that hooks him up with a bunch of successful entrepreneurs. His job is to interview these people and he learns so much and it truly changes his life. And it talks about how the book Think and Grow Rich changed his life, which is kind of why I didn't put it in this video because it aligns with this. And you get a little bit of both of the books in just this book, but I recommend reading both of them. The last book I want to talk about, I'm actually reading right now, so I'm halfway through it. I haven't finished it yet, but I can already tell that it is changing my life as we speak. How to Win Friends and Influence People is a book that a lot of people probably have heard of, and rightfully so, because this book is amazing. The principles that are in it, I have started to implement into my own life. I have noticed it allows me to be at my highest potential when talking to people. I can tell the way I portray myself is in a more positive manner, and it allows me to connect deeply with other people. A lot of the time when I'm around new people, I'm pretty shy. Like, I'll talk, but it's just surface level. It's never a deep conversation because I never know what to say. But the biggest thing I've learned from this book, which is a reoccurring theme in each chapter, be interested in others. Don't just talk about yourself. Ask people about what they like, what they want, all these things. And to be interesting is to be interested. So be interested in others and talk to others about what they like and what they're interested in. That's the biggest thing I've learned from this book. And so far, I've noticed that my conversations with people are a lot better. And I can't wait to finish this book and see how it even more changes my life. So if you're someone looking to improve your life in any aspect, I recommend all these books to you. Some additional recommendations for you that I've read but I won't really talk about are Think and Grow Rich, Rich Dad Poor Dad, The 4 Agreements, The Mastery of Self, Make Your Bed, The Power of Now, and Atomic Habits. If any of these books interested you by me talking about them, I also recommend all those books that I just said. I've read all of those and I loved every single one of them, so if you're looking to improve your life, I highly recommend you read any one of those books. As I've said, these books have truly changed my life, and I'm so grateful for the authors who wrote these books because I don't think I would be the person who I am today without reading those books. And I can't wait to keep reading new books, so let me know down in the comments what books have changed your life or transformed your life in any way. I hope I didn't waste your time. I hope I added some value to your life because I understand that's valuable. And I love every single one of you. Have an amazing day, night, evening, whatever it is for you.